many of you are familiar with a company called Hubspot? That ought to make you feel pretty good.
That's a good thing.
They're pretty well known in the marketing automation space, in the web analytics, and they do a lot of great content. And so I'm really happy to have Rick Burns from HubSpot to talk a little bit about, maybe we're going to demystify what marketing automation is today and how you can do it. And maybe it's not as difficult as people think, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay, let's see if this works for you. All right.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Okay, so what we just saw here is not particularly surprising because I think there are a lot of people who have heard of marketing automation. There are some people who have tried it, but there aren't a ton of people who have really made it work for their businesses. And what I want to talk about today is I want to help you with that problem, and I want to kind of make 2 points. The first is that there is a traditional kind of marketing automation that will kill your business. And if you're doing traditional marketing automation, it will kill your business. There is an alternative approach to marketing automation, inbound marketing automation, that will make your customers love you, that will make your prospects love you, make your customers love you, and that will really help your business. And I want to do this in the context of a couple of stories about 2 CMOs. This is the first CMO. You guys may know him. His name's Don Draper, and he's actually not a CMO. He runs an advertising agency. But we'll call him an ideal type CMO. He is the traditional CMO, and he would do traditional marketing automation. And I want to walk you through an experience that I had with a Don Draper type marketing automation process. This is an email that I got a couple of weeks ago. And I don't do any webinars. I don't do any events online. But this company, and I've blocked out the name to protect the guilty, this company sent me this email out of the blue. And let's walk through the experience that I'm going to have with this company. So first of all, I'm a stranger to them. They probably bought my name from some list. Then they sent me an unsolicited, impersonal email. And then I tagged it as spam, because that's like annoying. I mean, I don't want to deal with that. And this is where they ended up in my world. So no sale and unsubscribed. So they just spent all that money to buy that list, gone. It's dead. So when I think about this company, this is what I think of. I think it's spam, it's like oil in the Gulf, it's like Kim Jong-un, it's like John Steinbrenner, or George Steinbrenner, excuse me, and it's dead kittens. This is what, yeah, well, so this is like all the bad things in this world is what this company is all about to me. It's like, I mean, you might as well, it might be the Yankees. And then so that's bad news. But what's really stupid is that the math doesn't work. Like this is just, I may think that this is bad, but when you add it up, the math doesn't work. So if you buy a list, your list is going to expire at 25% every year. So you lose a little bit in year 1, you lose a little bit more in year 2, and then you lose a little bit more in year 3. And so if you start off in year 1 with a 50,000 list, a 50,000 lead list, you end up in year 3 with 21,000. And so your asset is depreciating very, very quickly. Now, that's not the only problem with buying these lists. A list you buy, the attention is most engaged right after the person subscribes. So what you're looking at here is the days since subscription along the x-axis and the engagement on the y-axis. And so people are most engaged, most interested in your product and your company right after they subscribe. So if you buy a list, it becomes more and more useless over time. And so if you buy lists, you have to keep buying them, and that gets really expensive. It's kind of like a drug. It's kind of like you're addicted to this thing. And so you can see that you just lose this value over time. Now I want to introduce you to the second CMO. This is the CMO who does inbound marketing automation. And he, again, is actually not a CMO, but this is the kind of marketing automation that Jeff Bezos would do if he was doing marketing automation. And so the experience that I have with inbound marketing automation is actually doesn't start with email. It starts when I have a question and I go out and search for an answer to that question on Google. So in this case, what happened is that I run the product marketing team at HubSpot, so I'm very interested in sales training. And I was looking for advice and best practices in sales training. I searched for Google on sales training best practices, and this blog article came up. And so where I ended up was this blog article here, which had a lot of great information. I'm looking for some new best practices, some new approaches to take to training our sales team as our software grows. And this blog article is fantastic. Well, it turns out that this company also sells sales training software. I subscribed to the blog, and I started reading the blog. Now, I want to walk you through my process and the relationship that I had with this company. So it started off, I find the company's blog in the search engine. That's number one. I subscribed to the blog, so they didn't buy my address, but they got my address because of that content. It was useful, it was interesting, and I felt it was worthwhile to subscribe to that blog. So then the company did something really smart. They noticed, because of all this context that we've been talking about this morning, they noticed what I was reading. They're paying attention to me. They're listening to me, watching what I'm doing. And they said, hey, you're interested in training software, so when you come back to our website, we're going to put up a call to action for an ebook on sales training. And we're going to engage you again and pull you further down the funnel. And it worked. So I downloaded the ebook. I downloaded this ebook, Guide to Sales Training. And then they did something else that was really, really smart. They had an automation workflow set up so that when I downloaded that ebook, their sales rep got an email immediately. And so that sales rep got a message that said, hey, this guy is serious. He's interested in sales training software. You should reach out to him. It's different than some just casual browser. He's really interested. So the sales rep reached out. And it turns out that the sales rep who called was not the slick Willie that John was talking about. It was a consultant, somebody who could help me with my sales training problems. He knew all of this interactions, all of this stuff that had happened about me, and he had a lot of advice. And the good news is that I became a customer. Because he had established this context, because he had taken this inbound approach to automation. And when I think about this company now, I think of all the good things in the world, like Tom Brady, Wikipedia, and kittens who are not dead but smiling. Yeah, okay. I was debating whether to put Ray Lewis up there on the but the best thing about this is that the math actually works. And the math works on two levels. First of all, when you segment and you personalize, you increase engagement. So what we found when we switched our email sends at HubSpot from general email to segmented email by persona, by geography, we saw an increase of 16% across the board for all of our emailing engagement. And that's a pretty significant increase when you think about the kinds of email conversion rates that people typically get. The other thing that is really important is that just the cost of acquiring these kinds of leads is much, much lower. We do a survey, and we're actually just wrapping it up right now, about to release the 2013 survey. Every year, it's called the State of Inbound Marketing. And we consistently find that those outbound leads, the ones that you buy from lists, are much, much more expensive. And you see that across the top in the blue bars there. They're consistently more expensive than these inbound leads that this company, this sales training software company, generated. Leads generated by content and social media, they're much, much cheaper. So the math here works. So it's pretty clear that this Jeff Bezos-style marketing automation is much more efficient than the kind of Don Draper traditional spammy marketing automation. The question is, how do you do it? How do you get your company set up so that it actually works for you and you take advantage of it? The first thing you need to think about is that you've got to forget about marketing automation and focus on inbound marketing. And I say that because if you focus on marketing automation without thinking of the broader perspective and the broader context of inbound marketing, you're going to end up here. Because marketing automation on its own, without the broader inbound marketing, is really just noise. And people have a lot of really good ways today to tune out that noise. They have do not call lists. The unsubscribe button is getting bigger and bigger. People just, direct mail is working better than ever in fireplaces. And nobody watches TV ads anymore unless you have to on Hulu. And so it's just, people have great ways to tune you out. And instead of jumping right into marketing automation, what you need to do is you need to start by creating content that people love. Like that blog post. That blog post that I found, I love because it helped me solve problems that I have with my sales team. And then you need to manage the social media around that content, and you need to add context to it. And what I mean by context is you need to understand how the people on your website are using that content, what they're consuming, and begin to put it into context. Now, this sounds a little high level, but it's actually part of a very concrete process. And let's see if the pointer works here. No, I don't want to press the wrong button. How this works here, when you think about this process, you start off on in your sales and marketing process, and you have a whole bunch of people out there that you don't know, and these are strangers. You want to attract those strangers to your website with content, the content we've been talking about. When you get them to your website, you convert them to leads with landing pages and calls to action. I mean, you want to convert those leads to customers with email and workflows. And then you want to delight those customers once you have them. Now, marketing automation is really, really helpful over here. At the end of this funnel, marketing automation is really, really helpful. But if your problem is over there, if your problem is just getting people to your website, it's not going to be helpful. Now, where do you begin? How do you know what your problem is? I'm going to walk through a couple scenarios really quickly because I see these guys are getting ready. Okay, well, I just think the truth is the truth. Well, they made it to the playoffs, which is better than a lot, Anyway, we'll get back to the marketing automation. It was disappointing. It was disappointing. Okay, so this is your funnel. What I've added here is numbers that are they kind of spell out your funnel. And I have three scenarios that I want to show you and sort of help guide you to what you need to focus on. So in this case, you can see that this person is doing really well converting their leads their visitors to leads and their leads to customers. I mean, 75%, I want to meet that sales team. But their problem is at the top of the funnel. They're not getting any visitors. So if you do marketing automation here, it's not going to help you. You need to solve the visitor problem. You need to create inbound marketing content there. Now here's another scenario. The problem here is your visitor lead conversion rate. If you do inbound marketing here, it's going to do nothing. Or excuse me, if you do marketing automation here, it's also going to do nothing. What you need to do in this case is you need to get landing pages and calls to action set up to convert all of those visitors to leads. Now, the final example is where marketing automation can actually help you. You've got good lead flow, you have a lot of visitors, but you're not converting any of those leads to customers. And this is where marketing automation can help you. And what does that mean? Well, it means think like Jeff Bezos. It means serving the right content to the right people at the right time. So if these are our founders, Brian Halligan and Jarmesh Shah, it turns out they're very different people. Brian Halligan loves the Red Sox. He's a former venture capitalist. And so his content on Amazon is very, very different from Dharmesh's, who just had a baby and who reads books about Python all the time. And so that, the coding language, not snakes. Yes. So you need to structure your business. You need to structure the bottom of your funnel like Amazon does. You need to set up the right content for the right people at the right time. And traditionally, as a marketer, you have all of these contacts in your database, but you don't have any information about them. What you need to do is you need to fill in this context. You need to collect all of that information and connect it to a specific individual. And so I'll walk through a couple pieces. I see a lot of people writing down very quickly. I'll share these slides on Twitter afterwards. But first of all, there are a couple specific things that you need to do. First of all, you need to have a system for pulling all of this information together in a marketing contacts database that's connected to a CRM, and you need to share that within your company. Once you've done that, you need to begin communicating via email in a more personalized way. So that means the content in the email, and it means the segmentations of the email. Once you've done that, you also need to set up workflows to customize the experience like the one I saw on the sales training site. And what you see here is what we do on HubSpot is when somebody clicks this button who's been a lead, we fire off an email message to our sales team because we know that this person is much more engaged than the typical browser and the typical lead. This person isn't just downloading a social media ebook. They're looking at the pricing page so that they're engaged, and they should go to the sales team. That's a customized workflow. But the last point I want to make here is that, in terms of automation, is that it shouldn't just be about email, and it shouldn't just be about these workflows. It needs to be the whole experience. It needs to be your website too, just like on Amazon. And so that's what we have here. So what you see here is that this is one call to action that we have for our prospects. This is another one we have for leads, and then another one for customers. So if you're not providing this context for all of your users, this is how your prospects are going to be reacting to you. If you're providing this context, if you're engaging them, they're going to love you. So one last thought here before Brent kicks me off the stage. About middle 2005, this is what I was carrying around in my pockets, just tons of stuff. And then the iPhone came along, and I was like, wow, I had a lot of space in my pockets. It was much easier. And it turns out it became more powerful, too, because all my data was in one place. Right now, for marketers, it's the same thing. It's like this confusing array of different things, and it's like, how do I manage all of these different applications, and how do I tie them together? That's the problem that HubSpot is trying to solve, and that we've solved. We pull all of this process, this whole process of inbound marketing that I just described, into one place. And one of the things that people often think, intuitively, when you pull something into one place and when you have an all-in-one system, is that, well, it's not as powerful. Well, in this case, it's the exact opposite. Because you have all of your data in one place, you can do so much more. You can customize the website. You can start campaigns based on social media, not just forms they've filled out. You can begin to customize campaigns based on SEO or all sorts of factors, and you can create that full Amazon experience. So that's my take on marketing automation, inbound marketing automation. I'd love to answer any questions afterwards, and also going to be doing a little bit of a run-through of our software in one of the breakout rooms over lunch. So come find me out there if you have any questions. Thank you.